No, shoot out, man.
Just, shout out to Cicely, who said someone spent $700 at Specs on her card.
Oh. Yeah, they was popping that night.
What are Specs?
All that stuff that you hold back. I mean, I could spend recklessly too, but I don't because I got to pay that back. So all the stuff that you hold back on and you keep yourself from buying, when somebody go out and spend that on your stuff, even though you may not have to pay for it, that make you mad. That's that I get upset when I go through and be like, and then they, I could have done that, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And then I'm mad at myself.
You should have spent $700 at Specs and then called and be like, man, who the fuck is spending $700 at Specs? By the way, Carl, Specs is a liquor store, Texas independent big chain liquor store.
Okay.
So, yeah. They don't do big liquor in Texas, so they make it like small business.
Yeah, you got hot food in there.
Cigars, deli meat.
I don't know if they have furniture yet, but you probably you got to get you an end table and a bedroom set, but maybe not a living room or nothing. Got quite a bit.
Are y'all? I know, John. You say you from Ohio. Y'all originally from Texas?
Yeah, I am.
Born and raised in Houston.
Nice. Amici, you sound the most Texan out of all of them.
Yeah, I know. I'm originally from London.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tight.
Yeah.
Tight.
You said you're from Mississippi, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
When did you make it out to LA?
1998.
Wow.
When I was 9 years old. I moved out here with my mom. She was pursuing her career and stuff. And so we came out here. It was a tough move. I went from like being able to like ride my bike all day around the city and stuff to you better stay in this gate.
Don't you leave this damn gate, boy.
Yeah.
Whoa, what part of Los Angeles?
First place we lived in is an area called it's like there's an area called Baldwin Hills, and Baldwin Hills is like up on top of a hill, a bunch of nice houses and stuff like that. And then in the bottom of Baldwin Hills, there's a bunch of apartments in an area called the Jungles. And y'all seen Training Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Training Day is where they filmed the Jungles that way, like where the dude was standing on the roof with the gun and stuff like that. That was the Jungles. We lived over there at first, and then we moved to Inglewood for a little while in an area called the Low Bottoms. When all your neighborhoods you live in got these names, you know they're not good. So we moved from the Jungles to the Low Bottoms to over by USC, which is, every school that's like one of the best schools in America is in a bad neighborhood. Yeah. But she always kept, like I was saying, she always kept me in school in West LA. So
okay.
Yeah, I always I never had to go to school in the neighborhood I lived in.
Yeah.
Other than the bicycle issue and not being able to ride all over, any other culture shocks from moving from the wonderful South to California at that time?
No more rain, really.
Mm-hmm.
That was a part of it. I had never really seen big buildings like that,
Mm-hmm. Where in Mississippi?
The Gulf Coast, town called Pascagoula.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. About 6 hours east of Houston on the 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the nearest major city in Mississippi?
Mobile to the east, and I guess Biloxi to the west.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was surprisingly, because not living from the South, when we went to Florida a couple years ago, we drove I-10 through Mississippi, and I was like, it was a beautiful state, man, just driving through it. So I can't imagine, having family there with like what you know and what you see that we don't get to see about Mississippi. Because I know Ohio, like we think of Mississippi as like a red hot racist state. Like you should never go there. When I moved down to Texas, I saw it's a different cultural thing, right? And it's not all like that. There's obviously racism everywhere in America, but it's not like that. And Mississippi surprised me the most because we drove through it and I was like, yo, this is actually a really pretty state, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like this state is gorgeous, man. But I didn't know we didn't stop there either, so I can't speak too much about anything else.
Yeah, I mean, everywhere, like you said, everywhere you go, you're gonna get. There's places that we could drive up in California. Me and the homies went wine tasting one time, and we was driving through some places that just every yard had a Trump flag, or like and it's like it's California. You get out of the major cities, you're gonna run into that. But in Mississippi, the people were so genuine. Like there is an air of like we different, but it's all the same. Like I remember before the pandemic, I went home. And my brother had locked his keys in his car, and we didn't have nothing to get the keys out. And these two like real redneck looking dudes like came out, and they were like, "You guys need help getting the keys out the car?" And like we was like, "Yeah, that'd be great." And they offered the help, and then they went back to their truck. And you look at their truck, all the stickers on the truck or everything you would if you saw a person with that many stickers on their car, you'd be like, I'm driving the opposite way. And they were just nice dudes helping us get the keys out the car.
Yep.
So like that's the South for you right there. It's like
real talk, man. That's how
yeah. Yeah, exactly right.
I wanted to ask you about some of your basketball past, man. So, I know you get your podcast is sports related, but doing some digging, found out you was a big basketball fan. You tell us about a little bit about that, like were you athlete? Is it like a super passion? You still hoop today? Like
yeah, I can talk about it for hours. I grew up playing. I played in college. And then I had to stop because I was not good enough to continue. College was like a different game. I don't know if y'all play high school sports, but like college, like trying to make that transition into college is tough if you ain't. I was a tweener, so I played big man in high school, and then I got to college and I was more guard size than big man, and so I didn't make that transition well. But I'm a big Clipper fan. We still managing and still be in it. It's every game is a ball of stress, but I started rooting for them when I was a kid. I moved out here, and I just didn't feel like no attachment to the Lakers like everybody else did, and I wanted to be. I was trying to be different as a kid, and my mom was dating this dude at the time who eventually became my brother's dad. But I had that "you not my daddy" syndrome, and he was a huge Laker fan, so I was like, I'm doing exactly the opposite of what you're doing. I don't
fuck the Lakers.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I get you, bro. That's dope, man.
It's been that since then. And this is our first year that we've gone this far, and it feels good. They trying to take the joy. If you ain't taking my joy, Devils, you ain't taking my joy. I'm ecstatic of how far we made it. Even without Kawhi, we like managing to stretch this series out. Like Devin Booker is actually from my hometown in Mississippi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you got some good pride there.
Yeah. Well, I'm rooting against him actively currently. But I got some of his those right there are Devin Booker Air Force Ones.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's conflicted.
No, I'm not wearing them right now.
Yeah.
They on the shelf collecting dust. But
see, I grew up in Ohio, so it was once I got to high school, all I heard from that on was LeBron. And I got a chance to watch him play a couple times in high school. And I mean, he was exactly what we thought he would turn out to be. Basketball is real big in Dayton. I'm sure you guys, you played up there. I don't know if you got to go into the city where, a lot of the actual high schools and stuff is. But if you ever go back down there, check it out. It's a lot of dope hoopers up in there. We had Daquan Cook. He came out of there in Norris Cole. He grew up down the street from my grandmother. He came out of there. Somebody else I can't think of, but a lot of hoopers there, man. That's dope, man. I played football though. I hooped. Hoop was a love of mine, but football was where I got busy. And of course, now I got the shoulder and knee injuries from it. Yeah. So I'm like, I would never ask. I don't think I would push football on my son because that shit hurt every day I wake up. Like I feel my shoulder back.
I'm gonna make all my kids play football, no matter the gender.
Now that sounds like a plan. That
You
sounds
gonna
like
play. You gonna play, Keisha. Better throw that ball.
Keisha.
Speaking of Instagram, I saw a picture on Instagram. I don't know if anybody. I don't know, Antoine. Have you ever played football?
Flag football when I was younger.
Well, there's a drill. This drill literally lets you know if you're gonna keep playing football or not. And it's a drill with two athletes laying on their back, and the coach whistles, and they get up and run head on. The whole drill is just contact. Can you just do contact for no reason? And of course, every year you would just see more and more people drop off. And trust me, man, the first couple of years I wanted to drop off because I couldn't wrap my head around just running heads up with somebody. It took me years to get my head around that shit.
It got outlawed in LA. You couldn't do it no more. And of course they still made you do it. And dared you to tell. Toxic adult.
Yeah.
But yeah, nutcrackers, and it's the most dangerous drill. It got outlawed. It's dangerous. Because people are so naturally put their head down. Yeah. And that is just how you boom. That's how you get hit. That's how it ends. And it got banned because kids was getting neck injury. Kids was getting paralyzed.
Literally, man.
Yeah,
Literally,
I played through high school. I played football, basketball, and baseball in high school. Mm-hmm. And my dad was in the NFL.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. He played in the early 90s.
Mm.
Oh.
And
nice.
So I kind of had to play. To try to for him. And
did he have the same role that you'll have for your kids? Everybody plays.
No, he didn't. He didn't. I actually didn't. He didn't make me play. He wasn't in the household. So it was more of me just being like, Dad, look, I'm playing football too. And he was like, I don't care.
What? Jeez. Cold, man.
Yeah.
Cold.
So how'd you pivot into performing and into comedy?
Well, I was always a bit of a clown. I was always a pain in the ass to my teachers. And I kind of always had a love for it growing up. I was born in 1989, and the following next 10, 12 years, 15 years was so big for Black comedy on television. So I was the little kid, too little to be watching Def Jam and Comic View, but I was watching it. I had an older cousin who was like a sister, who her and her friends would get together and watch Def Jam. And of course you had Martin Lawrence and Living Color, and all that stuff just happened right at that time. And then I learned that, being funny, when I moved out here to LA, being funny kind of kept the gangbangers off you,
Mm-hmm.
And so that just became like my personality, to be the funny guy. But you never think it's a real thing that you can do. You never think because it just seems so far away, and people shit on that dream immediately. I think I want to be a comedian. Man, you ain't funny. It's like you just.
I just told you, my nigga.
You're keeled over in laughter from something I just said. Yeah, but you're not funny. They don't understand how it works to be. You're not funny. You funny, but you're not
Yeah.
People see me now, and people see success. Like, man, I gotta be honest, man. I never knew you as a funny dude.
Well, I am, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Nah, it is. It's one of the hardest things to communicate as a goal. I want to be somebody who makes people laugh. It's hard, but like you said, you get to become. It's your career now. So, do you get pleasure in shitting on people who early on was like, man, Carl, bro, you should do something else, man. I ain't laugh. I don't think you're that funny. You're not this person. You're not that person. Or
I didn't really go through that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have too many naysayers. You got people who say slick stuff and hate, and who'll be like, "Oh, you doing that? Man, I should get out there." All right, okay. But yeah, I never really had too many. I think people I think for me that hate came from basketball. Mm-hmm. People was like, you ain't got it. And I had to learn that on my own, I had to learn that all I wanted to do was make it to college and prove, some haters wrong who thought I wasn't good enough. And then once I made it to college, I played for 1 year. The whole team got cut. We had a terrible season. And I came back home and I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life now because I realized at that point, school ain't for me. So I was like, well, what's been the most consistent thing in my life? I've been good at basketball. I've been good at football. I've been bad at basketball. I've been bad at football. Nobody's ever really told me that I wasn't funny. So I didn't start getting that until I became professional. And of course, it's like it's too late. I'm already making money now.
Right.
So you can think I'm not funny all you want to, but
Right.
because the people who sign in checks do. But yeah, I kind of got into it like the most haterade thing I got was people being like, nobody knows how it works to become a professional comedian. Nobody understands the process of it. So of course they don't think if you say, hey, tomorrow I want to start comedy, everybody's going to be like, well, the only comedians I know are Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle and people who have been doing this for 30 years. You're not as good as them. It's like, of course not. You're not good as them. Like, first of all, not only are you speaking on generational talents, you're speaking on people who've just been doing it for years and years and years.
Right.
So nobody really understood that. That was the only really haterade I got. Like, and then I started doing improv classes at that point at Second City, and I just kind of fell in love with it. It was the first thing that I had ever felt like this sounds more arrogant than what I'm meaning it to sound. But out of everything that I had done in my life, I was always pretty middle of the road. You know, in sports, I wasn't the first person to be picked. Man, we need Carlton team, but I wasn't the last person. You know, in football, I was in a rotation, so like I didn't start, but I didn't not get no playing time. You know, like comedy was the first thing that I felt like people were like, we got to get that kid.
Yeah,
and we got to see what he's doing. And of course, that does nothing but stroke the ego. And then you hit the wall where you're not doing well because you're learning, you're going through processes of learning and stuff like that. So, yeah, I've remained consistent with it. I've kept enjoying it, and I'm happy with where I'm at right now.
Why did you choose improv over stand-up? Because
I was doing stand-up a little bit, and because I didn't know what improv was. You know, improv is not marketed to our community.
Yep.
And so I didn't realize, I thought, you know, when people got on SNL or, you know, sketch shows, Mad TV and stuff like that, I didn't know that they came from improv theaters and stuff like that. I thought they were all stand-up comedians who just were good at characters. And so once I started doing research and I started seeing some of my favorite people to be on these shows came out of Groundlings and Second City and IO and stuff like that, I was like, oh, what are those things? And once I found out what they were, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I could try this, because stand up was hard, and I would abandon my jokes immediately if they didn't get laughs. You step up there and you think you got a banger. Boy, I just wrote this on the bus on the way up here. I'm about to kill him. And you get stone faced from the audience, and you're like, well, I found myself, I would do something like write a joke and think I was being cerebral and think it was gonna like be a take on something that nobody else had, nobody would laugh. But what they would laugh at was when I would perform it out and do like the characters and I was like, oh. And then somebody was like, you do improv, don't you? And I was like, huh? And like you always making stuff up there. Like I see you making it up. You abandoned, like it was like a comedian who had been doing it for a long time. And he was like, you always making stuff up. Like you abandon your material and you start making stuff up to try to recover. And I was like, oh yeah, I mean, the material don't work. What else am I supposed to do? And they were like, yeah, keep you come from improv. I was like, I don't know what that is. Like, you know, like whose line is it anyway? I was like, oh, like Wayne Brady, you know, street black kid. I'm like, yeah, Wayne Brady, you know. But then I started watching it and started doing that research, and I was like, oh, a lot of really cool people have done this art form. Yeah, like I'll look more into it. And so I went to the Groundlings website to see how you join that. It was super expensive, and I didn't really recognize any of the names. And by recognize, I mean like black people. Like I recognize a bunch of white people names, but I didn't recognize any Besides Phil Lamar and Daniel Gaither, who had been on what's it called? Matt TV. I recognize their names.
Mhm.
And then, but I went to the Second City website. It was $200 cheaper, and they had like a college brochure where it's like, listen, our history may not have that many black people, but look how many black people on stage right now. Like it was like Amber Ruffin and Sam Richardson and Edgar Blackman and all these people who were on Claudia Michelle Wallace, who were all on stage at that time. And I was like, it's $200 cheaper. I'm gonna go take classes here.
Yep.
And really fell in love with it immediately.
Man.
Yeah.
One of my favorite improv moments was going to the diversity and improv festival, and I saw you perform with a group. It was just called Black People, and I thought that y'all were like an assembled group, and I could follow you. I didn't realize it was just an amalgamation of these really impressive Black improvisers.
Man.
And y'all did some scenes that just
I did
blew
a
my mind.
plantation.
You remember that plantation about carrots?
That I still laugh at, and that was the first time we saw you. Yeah, I think everybody on stage, man. I'll never forget that. They were, it was a funny ass show, man.
And then another scene, you ended up being a table that the people were going to consummate their love on.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, it was so much goodness. It was really impressive.
Yeah.
And then, cut to a couple of years later, I'm watching Drunk History. I was like, that looked like that dude that was in there, The Thing. And then I get to my phone. I was like, oh, that's the same guy.
Yeah.
So then I recognized, no, he's a great improviser. So, and then when y'all came to Station White Women, I was like, that's it, man.
Yeah.
That was such a fun night.
That was another great performance, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good work.
Thank y'all.
Good work.
I appreciate that. That makes me feel great. I really enjoyed coming down there and kicking it with y'all.
Yeah,
Man,
y'all came to DCM too.
Yep.
Y'all came to DCM. That station festival, man. We definitely want to come back down there. That was so much fun.
Yeah, man. They love y'all down here.
Yeah. Tell them to bring us back.
Yeah, man.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Y'all put on, y'all show was dope too. I remember watching that was dope. I was man, I'm happy to have chosen improv. I think it fits my personality more. But improv is on the fritz out here in Los Angeles. I might have to get back on the stand-up stage. Whole lot of white people in here tonight. Give it up for the ladies, y'all. Give it up for the ladies.
Do you ever go to any of the stand-up, like the legendary stand-up clubs there, to just sit and watch the Comedy Store? Me and my wife went. I was like, man, I want to just go and just watch one of the shows at the Comedy Store. Do you guys ever do that, or is it more just you just out hustling and getting your money?
At this point, I don't really go up there just on random nights. I'll go if like one of my homies, like my homie Chinadu, is a regular at the Laugh Factory. He's like a past comedian at the Laugh Factory, and he's really dope. So I'll go check out his shows and stuff like that. I'll go if it's like a lineup of like a bunch of, because I got a lot of friends who do stand up, and so I'll go check them out. Iffy on White Women, he's a stand up. So if he's doing a show or something like that, all these African dudes,
they hitting it.
Yeah. I ain't from Africa. I'm from Crenshaw Mafia. But I'm just playing. But I don't really like be like, tonight I'm gonna take a date down to the Laugh Factory. Nah, we don't do that no more. I'm not trying to see them.
I know, man. I was just a little dude from Texas. We go out there and they don't. That's new for us. So we go out there and just check it out, just to get the experience. I guess.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I get it. If somebody big is, because y'all get like a lot of big people too, like who come down. Don't y'all have like the Addison Improv near you? Is that near you? Is that Dallas? Is that more Dallas?
That's Dallas.
Okay.
But we do got a Houston Improv, and we got like an independent kind of comedy club scene building, because Chappelle's came down to the Secret Group a couple of times. That's independent owned. So Addison is in Dallas.
What about, where's Tony Baker? I'm not Tony Baker. Tone Bell from? He from Houston, I believe. I think, or maybe he might be from Dallas. Where's Bill Hicks from? Was he from Dallas? Or
He was from Houston.
Yeah. So that whole group, that, and I know that Tone Bell is from down there too, I believe.
Yeah.
I can
And we
Google it.
got and Ali Sadiq, right?
Yeah.
Ali Sadiq from Houston, who Tandy knows but won't introduce us. We talked about him for 3 years. You know, my kids went through the wild. They used to swim together. Like, when you gonna tell us? You know,
That dude is funny. He tells great stories.
He does.
he is awesome, man. He's awesome. He's like my favorite part of what I like about DL Hughley is like all Ali Sadiq. You know, but now he's on the radio here now, and man, he be just flying on the radio, man. They don't care.
That's what I would love to do. That's the dream job right there. Being like a morning show host.
Yeah, man. Oh man, interview some of your favorite guests, and you just making people laugh and enjoying their mornings, man. That's awesome. Let me ask you this though. What's the future like for Carl Tart and your group, White Women? You got some shows y'all doing. Y'all got film y'all doing.
Man, we ain't got nothing on the docket yet. But I have a show that's coming out in the spring, I guess, or maybe even the winter time on NBC called Grand Crew. Okay. And they started writing that, and it's a few members of White. Iffy and Lamar are in that writer's room. That is created by Phil Jackson, who's a buddy. He's an honorary auxiliary member of White Women, but he was always too busy to be with us. He's a super accomplished dude. Wrote on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, same as me, and then wrote on Insecure. And he pitched this show, and I'm one of the actors in it. And I had to audition. Wasn't nepotism. But yeah, so they're writing that right now. We began filming that on August 2nd. So that's the kind of the main thing that's on the docket at this point. Awesome. Be on the lookout for that in early 2022 on NBC, Grand Crew, and we'll see. It's about a group of Black friends that hang out at a wine bar. So it's on all Black cast on NBC. Wow. NBC National Black Channel.
It's the new NBC.
Yeah, the new Black Channel.
NBC Max.
Niggas be comedians.
Niggas be comedians. .com. Yeah. Real talk, man. Well, it was a pleasure to have you. Yeah. Sure, man. We definitely want to get you down and do some shows. Have you come through. Would definitely love to go back out in LA just to see what you guys are doing out there. Hopefully the everything is going to be going well out there, you know.
I hope so too. If we get our show back, y'all definitely got to come in and do our show.
Man, that'd be dope. That'd be dope, man. Because I missed y'all's show at the last DCM. Yeah. I missed it in New York and I missed it in LA. Couldn't get in New York. It sold out.
Yeah. You know, LA DCM was crazy, but it was so much fun. We had a good time. I'm sad at the prospect that might be the last DCM ever.
Yeah, that was cold. That's cold.
That hurts.
But yeah, we got our regular bi-weekly show UCB. If UCB comes back, we're gonna do it at another theater if it don't. So there's another theater that's opening back up. We're gonna talk to them about it. But yeah, thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate it. This was so much fun. I love to come back on here too if y'all have me back.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Thank you so much. Yeah. Well then, DJ Comfy, go ahead and get them tunes ready to play us out. This is super fun. Oh, while he does that, I want to go to the chat. Make sure to shout out people who stopped by. Thank you, Benita. Thank you, Marina. Thank you, Miranda. Thank you, Cicely. Miranda was going off in the chat, y'all. I need to check the chat. We got Clark. Thank you so much for stopping by. Samantha, thank you so much for leaving a comment. But for John, for Amici, for Tandy, for myself, I can't tell nothing. Thank you again so much. Yes, we'll have to have you back. But other than that, we are out.